Today I'm gonna be talking about books I've read so far in July. Yeah, it's July. I wanted to make these kind of videos at the end of every month. I'm planning to go on a trip for 3 weeks and I don't think I will have enough time to make videos, so I'm just trying to record it right now, even though it's still July 10th. I've read 4 books so far and I think that's enough for one video, so let me just get into it. The first book I've read was Reading Lolita in Tehran. Crazy title, isn't it? So basically this book is a memoir of this English professor in Iran, Azar Nafisi, who's also the author of the book. During the Iranian Revolution, she organized this book club, secret book club, with a few of her female students. I'm pretty conflicted about this book. I really loved the first half and became kind of challenging to finish the rest of it. I will talk about it later. I really loved the message of this book, why we should read literature. I think she gives us her answer to the question through this book. I was so touched. I was so inspired by this message of the book. So I started to read more classic literature and I even started a book club because of this book. Like I mentioned, she's a professor, so she is very insightful. Her rich insights and passions into English literature really inspired me. Reading this book is almost like taking her classes, and I really appreciate that experience. I really love the way she reflects her situation with English literature and also how she uses it as a piece of freedom and an attempt to escape during the oppressive time. It was also the first book I read about the Iranian Revolution. I really appreciate the fact that I was able to learn more about the Iranian Revolution, about their history. It also reminds me of my country's own history. We were also under dictatorship about the same time, so I feel like I felt more connected to the book. However, there's a big controversy in this book about its Orientalist aspects. The way the author describes the situation in Iran at the time, very negative. I can kind of see the unfair portrait of the Iranian and Islamic society, and I think it can provoke a very wrong idea about Eastern society. And I think the author had to be more aware of it. She later stated that this book wasn't a political analysis, but if you consider her background, you can see that her strong opinion about Islamic Republicans naturally appeared in this book. She started studying in Western countries at the age of 13, and she has politician parents, especially her father, who was a mayor of Tehran, was jailed after the revolutionary. So I can see that she might have more strong opinions against the government. Did this book influence my reading? Yes, of course. I started reading literature, classic literature, and I even started a book club because of this book. So hell yeah. But do I think it's a great book? I wouldn't say so. And also, did I enjoy 100% of this book? I don't think so. So I can't really decide. So it was a 3.5 star book. Also, her writing style, it makes it also really difficult to read. Reading her book was like reading academic articles rather than just a memoir. So it makes me really tired. It tired me out a lot. I'm pretty conflicted about this book. I remember that I was so excited to talk about this book in the last video because at the time I only finished the chapter 1, I guess, and I was so excited about the book. But yeah, and the next book was my first classic literature The Great Gatsby. I read this book because of the previous book. I was reading The Great Gatsby while I was reading the Gatsby chapter from reading Lolita in Tehran. And oh my gosh, this is a masterpiece. How could one write a book like this? That's my question. This book made me fall in love with literature. I think a lot of people read this book from high school, but luckily, thankfully, I didn't have to do that. If I'd read this book back in high school, I wouldn't have loved this book. You know what I'm saying? The yarning, dishonesty, carelessness, and the tragedy, everything was so beautifully written. I loved it so much. I didn't know the whole plot, but I kind of knew the story of it. Like, I knew what was gonna happen at the end because it's a very famous fiction. But still, I enjoyed it a lot. I started reading it at 9 p.m. and I finished it 4 in the morning. I simply couldn't put this down. I was so captivated. The tragedy made me think about the materialistic and shallow dreams that Gatsby had. The nice mansion, the nice car, and the woman of his dreams. Everything was illusion in the end. Also, I got really bitter because those filthy rich people didn't get the tragic end. I mean, like, born to be rich people, you know? The third book, is it called The Hating Game because the readers hate this game? Because certainly I hated this game. I bought this book last year because a lot of people on TikTok talked about this book. I will forever judge those people. Like, it's giving a romance written by a 13-year-old. So childish. Lucy, the female main lead of the book, who's supposed to be a hard-working woman, all she thinks about is how petite she is and how she wants to fuck her office crush. She's acting like a teenage pygmy girl who has a crush on this popular ice prince. 80%, maybe 90% of her narration includes, oh, I'm so small, I'm 5 feet tall, shortcake, and Joshua is so hot, I wanna kiss him. But you would love this book if you only care about the sexy part of the romance. But as someone who grew up with K-dramas, sexual tension, like their sexual chemistry is like a sprinkle on top. I'm not reading others' love story to see how well they can fuck each other. I want to see how they fall in love through the plot, through the emotional connection. They both are extremely physically attractive. They're so hot. They instantly fell in love with each other like crazy. Me personally, in my humble opinion, I think that's a very lazy way to write a romance. But yeah, if you like that, you'll love this book. And last but not least, this book, I'm Glad My Mom Died. What a title. I grew up watching iCarly. It was one of my favorite shows, and I remember how I liked Sam because she was reckless. I am far from her character. I think I kind of admired her in a way. This book is a memoir of Sam's actress, Janet McCurdy. She talks about all the traumas and struggles she had to go through as a child actress, and her love and hate relationship with her mother was very relatable. The part where she talks about her fame after iCarly makes me really sorrow. I felt really sorry for the young girl who has to sacrifice her happiness for her mother's. But now that I have it, I realize that she's happy and I'm not. Her happiness came at the cost of mine. I feel robbed and exploited. A lot of people leave their parents' dreams other than their own. I think it's very unfortunate, but at the same time, it happens a lot. They tend to say that it's because they want the best for us. But how can it be the best thing when I feel extremely miserable living through this? Some parts of the book were really hard for me to read personally because it triggered my own traumas. So I had to pause for a while, but after all, it was worth reading. How she healed from everything happened and how she started to find herself after all those years was exquisite. If you're in the similar journey, I think you really like this book because it will give you a sense of hope and sense of encouragement. We can't change what has happened in the past, but we can definitely heal from it and we can definitely outgrow. She also has a great sense of humor. I really appreciate it. This book talks about very dark and serious matters, but her storytelling makes it not too difficult to read, makes it funny. Like the book is really funny. It's kind of weird thing to say, but it's really funny and it's also really genuine, honest, and of course sad, depressing, but at the end it's beautifully written story. So these are the books I read so far, but I also have a book haul that I want to show you guys. Give me a sec. Well. I think I told you my hobby is not reading books, it's buying books. I bought 5 books this month. They're beautiful. I bought them from Book Outlet. I found this website on TikTok and oh my gosh, this is such a heaven. Every book is a new book. It's not a secondhand bookstore, but they're extremely cheap, like dirt cheap. I bought these 5 books for $58, including the delivery fee, which is a steal. And if you're living in Canada, you know how expensive books are. And I think they're also doing this promotion, summer promotion, where you can buy 4 books and get 1 for free, or 5 books and get 1 book for free. I bought 3 classics I wanted to read. I love their covers. Like, are you kidding me? Those aren't papers, they're imitation leather, so they're extremely soft and they're kind of like sparkling. They have little like glitters all over the cover, which makes it even prettier. I especially love this cover, Pride and Prejudice Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. I really wanted to read Jane Austen and I was thinking of reading Emma, but my friend just like recommended me Pride and Prejudice, so I bought this book and I love the cover. Like the color combination, I can't, like, they're so pretty. 1984. I've been wanting to read this book. I can't actually believe that I still haven't read this book, but yeah, this time I'm gonna try. Anna Karenina. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right, but yeah, I don't think I will try this book anytime soon. It's kind of intimidating. I knew this, but yeah, looking at it in real life is kind of different. So I bought these beautiful classic books. One thing I don't like about these books though is that they have really small fonts. I don't know why they did that. Their fonts are so small and they have a lot of like paddings, margins here. So I think they could have made it bigger. They could have made the text bigger, but well, it's pretty. I might get one for The Great Gatsby because I borrowed The Great Gatsby from the library, so now I returned it. But I really like the book, so I'm gonna get one of the copies. Educated by Tara Westover. This is actually a book for my book club, my first book club. I haven't started it yet, but I will do it soon. I picked the first book for the book club, and I really wanted to read this book. It's been on my list forever. So I'm so glad that I'm finally able to read this book. I was trying to borrow from the library, but since it's so popular, I don't think I would be able to like read before the book club meeting, so I just bought one copy for myself. Also, one thing about Book Outlet is that they have their books have these weird like mark. I don't know what they mean, but yeah. But they were kind enough to not do the thing on these books. The Thief and the Dogs. I think he's an Egyptian writer. My friend recommended him, and also I had to buy one more book to get the free shipping. My friend also didn't try this book, but yeah, she recommended the author, and this was the only one book of his from the Book Outlet. I'm also currently reading another classic, Dracula. Let me show you. I borrowed it from the library and I read only this amount. I'm planning to visit my parents' house and I can't wait to go through all my old books. So until then, hope you guys stay safe. Bye.